guys. Today I am finally going to give you an answer to the question that you've all been asking. And that question is, what the fuck are you doing in Europe? How are you a 20-year-old financially independent living by herself in Spain? So I'm going to tell you all my secrets. So the title of this video is going to be how to live and work in Europe as a non-EU citizen. But me personally, I'm an American. The program that I'm going to mostly be talking about, you do have to be a native English speaker to apply and join. But before we dive into that, I do want to say, if you do want to live and work in Europe as a non-EU citizen, here are some quick opportunities for you. Au pair, I'm not really sure how you say that, but pretty much families will have you be a live-in babysitter. So a lot of Europeans do this. They want you to teach English to their children. There's a website called Worldpackers. You can look up different jobs that different places around the world are trying to fill, and a lot of these places will give you free accommodation, will pay you, or you'll just work for free accommodation. And there's lots of different options. I think you have to pay to sign up, but that's another option all over the world, not just in Europe. And lastly, if you do want to end up living and working in Europe, you might just want to start traveling, because you can travel and stay at hostels and weasel your way into working at one, because literally all of the hostels that I've stayed at, I've brought up the conversation of working there, and like the people are always so friendly with that information, and there's people from all over the world that are working there. So those are three options that aren't what I'm doing if you do want to live and work in Europe. But specifically, what I'm doing right now is I am an auxiliares de conversación here in Spain, in España, and that means I am an assistant English teacher in a primary school. So my number one tip would be, if you do want to live and work in Europe, the easiest thing that you probably can do is teach English. There's a lot of opportunities for you to teach English. I know that there is a similar program to mine that happens in France, but it's a bit more difficult because you do have to be fluent in French to get into the program. For this Spanish one, you do not need to be fluent in Spanish. You just have to have a 4-year degree and then fill out the application. The application opens on February 1st and runs until about early May, I believe, but the earlier the better, because it is first come, first serve. There's a 5-year term limit that you can have to work here in Spain. There used to be no limit, but our program is rapidly growing, and so they actually had to cut down the amount of people for how long they were staying. Now here in Spain, like I said, the program is rapidly growing. About 5 years ago, I believe there was less than 1,000 of us. Now we are at pretty much every school here in Spain, both primary and secondary, so that's elementary and high school. Me personally, I teach in a primary, so I teach 1 through 6, and then others, usually those who can fluently speak Spanish or speak a bit more Spanish than me, will teach in a secondary, which is 7th through 12th. Now, the application process is pretty simple. Pretty much what you do is there's a online link, it's through their government, and what you do have control over is choosing your region. So you choose your top 3 regions on your application. Regions are like states here in Spain, and my tip to you would be study Spain a bit, figure out what you want before you go into the program. My top region was Valencia, and I got Valencia. You also get to choose the size of city/state that you want to live and work in. So you can choose large, medium, or small. For example, a large city region would be you choosing Madrid and getting placed somewhere in the Madrid community, or you choosing Valencia and getting chosen somewhere in the main Valencian community outside of the city. Me personally, I chose a medium to small city, and so I was placed in a pueblo, a rather rural village. But let me give you this inside tip, guys. Like any country, a lot of Spain is very small and is pueblos or villages that can be quite rural, that you need cars to get around in. Now, when you're doing your application, they give you the opportunity to write like your special requests if you do want to request anything. I know most of the people that I have talked to in this program, you meet each other very easily, just ignored that box and didn't put anything in there, and then were upset when they were placed somewhere that was like hard to get to, not in like the part of Spain that they envision living in. So my tip to you is fill that box out, because when I applied, I filled that box out, and so I said I wanted to be near the beach, I wanted to be near the mountains, and I wanted to be near public transportation. And so I was placed in a small village like I asked for. I was living in New York City before this, so I did not want to live in a big city. Valencia is the third biggest city after Madrid and Barcelona here in Spain. And I'm literally in the valley of the mountains that leads up to the beach. So I can show you a little clip out my window from my apartment right now. So there's the Mediterranean right there. There. The beach is here and the mountains are there, and I teach in the mountains and I live in the beach, and I live right on a train line that can take me all the way up to Valencia, which can take me anywhere in Spain on another train or to the airport. If you're going to apply, think about what kind of like living situation you want to have, because you can really manifest that. And that's my last tip, is just manifest your desired reality, because before I got here, I wrote down like the kind of apartment that I wanted to live in, how much I wanted to pay for rent, where I wanted to live. I wanted to live alone, the vibe at my school, what kind of like teaching I was doing, like all of that. And I have been successful in it. But there are definitely also some real challenges and problems to this program that I can't just gloss over. Now, as much as I have loved my school and my experience in this, and it has been so perfect and so good and everything that I've wanted and more, there are some real problems. You can join a lot of Facebook groups to find out more and connect with other Auxes. And in those, you will hear horror stories of people whose schools don't like them because they don't speak Spanish, or of people whose schools ask too much of them and they aren't an assistant teacher. You're supposed to have an actual Spaniard in the classroom with you helping you teach, who's fluent in Spanish. Some schools have not done that. And in the Valencian community specifically, late pay is a problem. So let's get into payment, because I know you're curious. If you are living in one of the main three regions, that is Madrid, Barcelona, or Valencia, you get paid 1,000 euros a month. If you're living in a smaller region, for example Alicante, you're getting paid 780 euros a month, I believe. That's just because life in the city is a bit more expensive. But for me, and mostly everybody that I talked to in the Valencian region, we were all paid about 3 months late. So the program starts October 1, and our first paychecks didn't start showing up in our bank accounts until December 23rd. So when they did hit, all of them hit at once. The problem is that you have to go about 3 months without being paid. You do learn that information before you move here. So you're told to like save, because you know you're not going to be paid exactly. But it's still hard, and it's a financial burden, and it stops some people from having the opportunity, from having the opportunity to be able to do this, because they can't save. I would recommend saving about $7,000 to $10,000 before you move here, definitely. So there's my tip: save about $7,000 to $10,000 before you move here, because you have to pay for the flights, and then you have to pay for your moving. I had to live in a hotel for 2.5 weeks while I figured out where I wanted to live, and then you have to pay for your apartment, you have to put a down payment on, and then you have to pay for transportation, and then you have to pay for if you want to go on trips, which is another huge plus side to this program. Once you're in Europe, it's pretty easy to travel around Europe, and a lot of us do. And also, Spain loves their vacations. I went on a 2-week trip over winter break, and you can even do trips on the weekends if you feel up to it. But the payment problem is a real issue. It's been a real issue for quite a while, and there's not really much you can do about it because the Spanish government just tells you that you're going to be paid when you're going to be paid. So if you're okay with saving money and sitting back and trusting that the money will come, then I love this program. There's not really much else of a downfall to this program, to this opportunity. But if you're someone that struggles with money or stresses about money and won't be able to financially hold themselves for 3 to 5 months without being paid, then you might not want to join this program. The other downside, the only other one, is that there are different working conditions based on what school you're in. Like I said, some people have horror stories. I've had a fantastic experience. My school is so welcoming. My students are so smart. My teachers have been nothing but lovely. They have given me literally the clothes out of their closet and helped me with all of my paperwork. You know, moving to another country does come with visas and residency cards and government politics, but my school has been very helpful with letting me come with them to my appointments so they can speak Spanish. I'm not fluent. I am not even conversational. I am getting there though. The other thing is, before you move here, you should know there are different subdialects of Spanish within Spain. I live in Valencia. They speak Valenciano. And I did not know that until I moved here. And then I was like, the days of the week are different. Like, saying good morning is different. Like, okay. So besides that fact, they mostly all just speak regular Spanish as well and will help you learn if you're open to learning. And my students love to help me learn too. My students will spend their like recess breaks like having me read books to them in Valenciano or in Spanish, and then correcting my pronunciation or like having me repeat words back to them, just because they really want to have a relationship with you. And like, if you, like, I told them when I moved here that I'm here to learn Spanish, and so they've been really receptive to it because I'm teaching them English at the same time. We're all here to learn, you know? Now, what does the work week look like? So the work week here in Spain is pretty relaxed because this is Spain. This is a slow living country. And let me tell you the benefits to this. Like, I am the happiest I've ever been. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I'm like the most mentally stable I think I've ever been. And that's because, so I work 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday. I work from 9 to 2, which is the school day. So that's 15 to 20 hours a week. And you have the freedom to teach what you want while also having the English books to rely on. So, for example, mostly I make games and play games with my kids. I've played Jeopardy with them. I've taught them about American culture, so Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween. I've also made games with them, like I have a conversation ball. I was like a camp counselor before I did this, so I like used those tactics as well. But it's just really, really relaxed. I know there are a lot of different Oxys that teach a lot of different things, have a lot of different styles. It really depends on your school and your English level, but personally, my students like to be challenged. So I give them a little bit of a challenge. So speed round. The speed round. Let's go back over it. I'm an auxiliares de conversación here in Spain. You need a 4-year degree to do this. You apply online between February and May. You teach English with another Spaniard in the classroom, the actual English teacher, and you help. You create games or you create presentations and you share them with the class. You do not have to study English in university. I have a degree in communications and media studies and a minor in sustainability. You get the freedom to teach about what you want. So if you have a specific interest, you can teach about that. You get the freedom to choose what region you want to live in, and you are paid a livable wage. Now, let's tack on this piece of information. When you're saving your money, keep into account that your rent, I would say, can range anywhere between 150 and 900 euros. I know some people that live in like the sticks and pay like 150 to 200 euros, or if you live with multiple different people, you can pay 200 euros a month. I currently pay 500 euros a month, and I live all by myself in a beautiful apartment that you will see soon because I'm moving out. Oh my god. And I also know some people that live in like the middle of Madrid all by themselves and are paying 880, 900 euros. So most of your paycheck can go to your rent, which is why you want to have a smart living situation and then also have money saved up, because you're going to want to travel. Definitely, you're going to want to travel. You're going to want to travel. If you join this program, my last tips to you are join the Facebook groups, get excited, reach out to your school, practice your Spanish, and again, manifest your desired reality. Like, plan out what you want your Spanish life to look like, and just be really open to the cultural differences, but also the culture as a whole, because I love the Spanish culture. I really love the 5 meals a day. I love siesta. I love the slow living. I love it all. I really do. I love the language. And if you come from a place of love and a place of learning, then you will never be led astray. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video and some tips on how to live and work in Europe as a non-EU citizen. If you're still in school and you just want to get out of your country, study abroad, or go on a trip, okay? Travel changed my life and made me so secure in myself where I'm able to be the person that I am today. So I hope to see you guys in Spain sometime soon or somewhere around the globe. Until then, never stop learning and do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy.